The next stop is On the Radar Radio.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, baby. On the Radar Radio. Yo, special guest in the building, Rasheed Chappell in the building. My guy.
What up? What up? What up?
Welcome to my show.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate you letting me come through.
How you been?
I've been good. No complaints. No complaints.
You're in like this new like reflective era of your career. I was funny because like one of the first things that stuck out to me when they like sent me like, you know, I do my own research, but then they send me bullet points. But there was like one thing that they like sent me that I was like, oh, this is interesting. He has a renewed clarity about his music and art.
Yeah, I do. I'm in a really good space. Like, I'm in a space where I understand, you know, how important and impactful my words could be. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I'm reflective on, you know, the journey that got me here and how I arrived at that point. So I'm in a real good spot. I feel really good about everything.
What made you realize how powerful your words are?
Because I seen the effect that they have on people, especially the effect that it has on me, the words that I speak to myself. Right, because we never take that in consideration, the things that we say to ourselves. So, you know, once I started believing again in what it was that I was saying to myself, everything just kind of like fell into place.
Huh, interesting. Okay, because I'm going to be completely honest with you here, bro, right? Because there was a bar in the freestyle where you were talking about, I lost my ring. And I was like, is this like a real thing that happened to you?
Yeah,
too?
this is, you know, it's funny that you bring that up because I was talking to my partner earlier, and a lot of people, you know, they hear something and they're like, yo, that was a dope line, and not really understand that it comes from a real place, that these are people's real stories, a lot of the time my own. And, yeah, like I went through a divorce during this process with, you know,
this album process.
Yeah, this whole,
okay.
It's been, you know, the process has been going on for a few years, but, you know, we were together since high school. And so, you know, it's a, you know, someone you've been with your whole life and adjusting to life without them, you know, and standing on your own, it's definitely been a learning process.
So how did that impact the music that you were making at the time? And what was a lot of the, when you were kind of making this project, was like that weighing on you heavy? Because, you know, obviously, like I said, this project is very, very much a reflective album.
I think, you know, for me as an artist, I'm not usually up to date as far as like letting you know what's going on in my life right now. Okay. So you might hear something that may have happened in the past. So with this particular project, I think that because everything was in the forefront, my dad's illness, going through a divorce, and just, you know, just life was just really in my face at the moment, it kind of forced me to look at and tackle, you know, the things that were directly in front of me. And so, you know, that process kind of, you know, pushed me in that direction.
A Portrait of?
Absolutely.
Is that why you named it that? Because of all that, or was there like a secondary type of reasoning behind it?
I usually title stuff after the project is done, but as we were going through the process and I was listening to the songs, I was like, yeah, this sounds like a really good portrait of what my life is like right now.
Okay.
So that's how that came about.
So you was really feeling like during, like you were like, oh yeah, this is, you were gonna name it before, but like after you're like, this kind of is like resonating with me now.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
But so that wasn't even the plan originally.
No, I mean we did probably, when I say we, I mean myself and Little Vic. We did probably 3 or 4 songs prior to getting the first song that I was like, okay, this is a song that's going to be on the project. So, yeah, we didn't have any working titles or any ideas of what we wanted it to be like or sound like. We just got together, started vibing out, and you got A Portrait of. It came out that way. Yeah.
You know, you mentioned the divorce, and obviously, you know, losing your father, first and foremost, condolences.
Thank
you know
you.
what I'm saying? With that all happening, obviously really recent in the present, like some people would look at you as an artist and be like, how is he like pushing through all this too, enough to even put out this self-reflective project too? Because it's a lot.
You know, I learned a lot about myself and my father in this whole process. He had cancer, and he was diagnosed 8 years ago. And when he was diagnosed at stage 4, and there's no stage 5, right? So for 8 years, he was in the most critical stage of cancer, and he pushed through the whole way through. And he never complained. You know, it probably wasn't until the last week of his, maybe 2 weeks before he passed, that I physically saw signs that, you know, it wasn't all good. And because you're so close to it, I kind of like, you know, your dad is your superhero. So I'm like, oh, he'll be fine. Like, he's had it for 8 years. He'll push through. Like, he'll be here till he's 75, 80, whatever the case may be. But in the process, I realized that I come from that. Like, I come from that sort of strength. So if he could fight cancer and still, like, he hated that he had to stop working and he just wanted to work. And, you know, I was like, yeah, I come from that. So that level of strength and that level of commitment resides in me. So I just channeled that and I was like, fuck it. Like, it has to get done. Like, the story has to be told. Like, I can't stop because of what I'm feeling. Like, I got to keep going. Like, the purpose is bigger than what I'm feeling. And that's where I went as far as, like, getting the project out.
So that's kind of like that you learned about your father in the path of this too.
Yeah. You know, because as kids, we want our parents to be perfect.
Of course.
But they aren't. They're humans just like we are. And then being a parent, you realize that you're not perfect, right? Because you think, oh, I did all the things that I wish my parents would have done. And sometimes your kids still have issues with you. So it's like, you know, there's no handbook, there's no manual for life. You just got to live it. And, you know, hopefully you do right by people. But I think the most important person you need to do right by is yourself. And we lose sight of that. You know, we try to please so many people that we lose sight of what it is that we're here to do.
Right.
And so, you know, like you said, I regained that alignment with me, and I just locked in.
That's fire, man. Well, congrats on that realignment.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
No, that's a good thing. Shit, like having gone through all that and then still being able to come out of it with a great body of work, but
Thank
two,
you.
like a different perspective on like life and yourself. Like, that's a beautiful thing too.
Yeah, man. It's dope, man. You're like I'm a fan of life. Like, I think life is dope, right? That we get all these different experiences, all these different emotions, and we don't really tap into all of them. Like, if we were to ask anybody in the room, how many emotions are there? There'll be like hundreds. And if you tell them to list them, they'll probably list 10. Like happiness, sadness,
If
hunger.
that, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, experience all of it, man. Like, fucking experience all of it. Like, you know, the first person that ever decided to fly wasn't afraid to fall. And it's like, you got to have that level of fucking commitment, like dead ass. Like, I heard the other day something that just, you know, because shit comes to you all the time. And I heard somebody say, like, the difference between an amateur and a professional is an amateur does it until he gets it right. And a professional does it until he can't get it wrong. And so, like, what is your level of commitment? You just want to do it till you get it where, you know, it's presentable, or do you want to get it to the point where it's like it's mastery?
Yeah.
And that's the type of shit I'm on. Like, I'm trying to master this shit called life. All of it, every aspect of it.
Right. I think I had DDG up here like a couple months, like 2 months ago, and one thing he was saying, he was talking about like negative thoughts, and he was like, and he was a little high when he was doing it, which is how I knew it was the most genuine thing. It came from a very genuine place.
Okay.
And he goes, look, we're alive. We should be happy that we're alive. He's like, you know, no matter what you're doing, he's like, you shouldn't. Well, obviously, you know, we all have negative thoughts. We all fight our own demons, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like at the end of the day, it's like we should still, at the end of the day, be happy for the fact that we're even still here and that we get to see another day.
Absolutely.
And I think to your point of what you're saying, that's also like the same thing. Just be
Yeah.
happy that just be like, yeah, things could suck, but like at the end of the day, like be happy that you woke up to see another day.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Like, this OG used to tell me all the time. He was like, I've never had a bad day. He said, a bad day is try missing one. That's a fucking bad day. Right? When you missed it, when you don't wake up, like, that's a bad day. So, you know, I've gone through shit in my life that, you know, a lot of people might consider bad or hard, but it's like, it wouldn't have made me me. I wouldn't be me. And I love me. I love who I am, and that I've come through it and see life the way that I see it. So I wouldn't change any of it. Like, I felt differently younger, but as I've gotten older and really understood what humanity and what it is to be a fucking human being and to be flawed and to, you know, trying to figure things out. Like, yeah, man, I wouldn't change any of the shit that, you know, my parents went through and, you know, affected me, because it made me who I am, you know? So, like, I'm with the shits.
I'm with the shits.
Facts.
And, you know, I'm mastering this thing called life, obviously, you know, with this music stuff. I want to ask, so, like, how long have you been officially making music for, like, your whole career?
My first single dropped in 2009. My first album dropped in 2011. So this
it's
is
a long journey.
Yeah.
And do you feel comfortable where you're at right now, or do you still feel that hunger? Like, where do you feel yourself at right
Gabe,
now?
I feel like the world is about to really understand what's happening. Like, I've never lost the hunger. Like, I've never been discouraged. I've never been, you know, disenchanted with what this is that we do, because it's a marathon, right? So, like, I'm in love with the process, right? So I love making the music. For me, it all starts with the music. Like, all the other shit is cool, but it starts with the music. If the music is good, then there's no limits to it if the music is good. So that's always been my focus on the art because I'm in love with the art of it. And the accolades and the shit that come along with it, that's cool. Like, we all want those things, but that's never been what motivated me. So the fact that I'm here 11, 12 years later and people still fucking with it is a testament that, quality over quantity always wins.
Right.
And that's me. I'd rather have 1 pair of J's than 4 pair of Converse. Like I'm quality over quantity. That's just me.
I like that. I want to ask because, me being from Queens, the 15 Minutes in Queens EP, I feel like there's a really cool story behind that.
Thank you.
Like, I know you got people on your team from Queens, but I want to know, like, is there, like, a story behind that?
I could, it really just, and it's funny because that wasn't what that was intended to be either. Like, me and Rec Real, I was, that's like one of my favorite places to record.
Okay.
And so, I would come out to Queens and we would always go get Mamas and Empanadas at the end, right? We go to Northern Boulevard, we go get some Mamas, right? And so I had been over there like knocking out a bunch of features, just features. And during the whole process, he had been sending me some of his joints. And so I knocked out a feature the first night that we started working on the project. I'm like, you know what? Like, let me just play some of those beats that you've been sending me because I feel bad. Like I'm coming here, I'm not knocking out your songs. And we did like I think the first 2 records on the album that night, and I was like, okay, like this feels like something. Mm-hmm. And so, we came like we had more stuff, but it was like when it got to that 5th song, I was like, if we track this out to be 15 minutes, like a conversation that you have with yourself, like this could be special. And so that was really once we got to like song 3, I was like, we're gonna call this 15 Minutes in Queens.
I love that.
And we're gonna make this shit 15 minutes long, short and sweet. We're gonna get right to the point. And, people received it really well. I got to work with some dope directors like New Vegas and Famous AA on the project. So, like, it was, that opened me up to someplace else also. So, I'm grateful for that project. I love that project, actually.
I thought it was super dope, too. And it's just funny how, like, all these things that, like, you've, like, come to do lately in these past couple of years is kind of like...
Yeah, you manifested, bro.
They just have... Well, they happen, but, like, you didn't plan for them to be this or be that either at the same time. It just kind of was something that just... exist like happen. Mm-hmm. How long have you been like linked up with like Shay Noir and like Spesh and them too?
I reached out to Spesh. I want to probably say 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, and I had reached out to Spesh to do a verse. And Spesh is a fucking workaholic. He sent it right back, and so he right back, like maybe the same day, and he was on Twitter one day and he was like, yo, who do y'all want to see me produce an album for next? And I was like, me. And he was like, fuck it, let's do it. Mm-hmm. And so we both got booked to do a show in Jersey. And so I don't know if he thought I was playing or what the case was. And so when we were doing like the press shoots and the shit in the back, I was like, yo, I'm serious, like about doing an album. He was like, word? I'm like, yeah. He's like, fuck it, let's figure it out. So he had to show up in either Rochester or Buffalo. And me and Hill pulled up. Like it was like 4th of July weekend. And we just pull up. And he's like, yo, you outside? I'm like, yeah. He's like, yo, okay, come in. And he was like, yo, you want to come back? I'm like, nah, we chill. We're going to stay in the crowd and shit. And like, if that was a Friday, we were in the studio Monday. And then, I met Shay through Spesh and Ransom and just everybody, like, just came through. And there was a time when we were doing, like, the Trust Gang albums and shit, where it was just a fucking mad, like, I could imagine this is what Wu-Tang must have looked like. Because you got Planet Asia, you got Mussolini, you got Spesh, you got Shay, you got Ransom, you got everybody. Graf, rest in peace, Fred the Godson coming through, Reef Hustle, like, everybody. And it's just like, yo, like, oh, no, I want that beat. No, I want this beat. And it's just like, everybody grabbing something and hopping on records. So that was, like, super crazy.
I just had Mussolini up here a couple days ago. Last week we had Mussolini.
Yeah, shout out to Moose.
Yeah, shout out to Moose.
Absolutely.
So do you think we'll ever get those, like, something like that again?
I hope so. Spesh and I hope so.
We'll put that out into the universe.
Yeah. I can see it happening again. Everybody's elevated since then, so it only makes sense to come back and do it again.
Right. It's funny. Something else that they wrote about you is that you've been really into boxing lately, and you've been on a weight loss journey.
Facts, fam. Facts.
I love these little notes from Scott. It's funny. It's just funny because I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I wouldn't have thought about that.
Facts, man. And that was part of also due to my dad. Like, you got to get comfortable doing shit that's uncomfortable, right?
Yes.
And trust me, like, I don't drink, I don't smoke, but me and Sleep get along fucking great. I love, like, me and Sleep. Mm-hmm. Like, I think my superpower is I could sleep, wake up, and take a nap. Like, I literally could do that. And I was like, nah, like, you're not gonna get nothing you want that way. So it's like, get up, work out, like get up, get to work, work out. Like that's the work of the day. It's taking care of you. So I get up, you know, I do my miles in the morning, like I said, and I hit the gym. You know, I've implemented intermittent fasting. You know what I mean? So I eat
Intermittent
like,
fasting is great, by the way.
absolutely great for the body as well.
Yep.
So you know, I'm down like 60.
Oh, congrats.
Absolutely.
60
you
in 2022?
know? Yeah, I started on August 30th.
Nice.
Absolutely.
60, okay, let's reframe that then.
Yeah.
60 in September, October, November, December. Less than 4 months.
Yeah.
Less than 4 months.
Yeah, man.
How do you feel?
Feel fucking great. You see me? Yeah, how I feel. Like y'all see me out there? Like I feel fantastic, man. I feel like I'm getting back to me. Like everything is just aligning, you know. But I realize that is because I'm doing the work, and nothing works in life until you do.
Mm-hmm. I also, you know what I love seeing? I love seeing people on Twitter like. I peeped your fan base is super tight on Twitter, right?
Thank you.
I love seeing people on Twitter calling the album of the year, all this and that. Like I love seeing shit like that.
Me too. I'm like, I like seeing that too. Nah, I mean, I've had loyal supporters, you know, from day one. The first album was in a different era, but it was very impactful. So a lot of the people carried over from the blog era, you know, which we don't have anymore. Transition to the podcast.
Kind of like here and there. Not like as heavy.
Yeah,
as it
not
used
like
to be.
back then.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just translated well. You know, I try to be as authentic and genuine as I can, you know, with folks. And you know, they appreciate that. Like, you know, like I've never been one, like I like that they're, you know, touting the album as album of the year. I wouldn't say that. I mean, I would say it if asked, but like I wouldn't broadcast that without being asked about it. You know what I mean? Like, because I just feel like, you know, like cream rises to the top, right? So if I got to tell you how good something is, and probably it isn't that good. You know what I mean? So that's just always been my philosophy. So I'm happy that people are receiving it well. I mean, the streaming numbers are crazy. It's by far my best-selling or best streaming project that I've released, like by far. And I credit that to my team, you know, Perfect Time Music Group. I credit that to the music itself from Vic. You know, the visuals from AAA, just everybody that's worked on it. Like it's been a group effort, and it's actually, you know, reaping the benefits now. So I'm thankful.
Word. Well, congratulations, man.
Thank you, sir.
What's next for you after this?
I don't know. After this, we have another project lined up. You know, I'm gonna get with the team to see how we want to tell that story. You know, how we want to present that to the people. But, you know, I'm probably, honestly, we've been running around. Like, I want to, like, kind of, like, sit in this for a second. Because I'm always thinking about what's next. Like, you know, because I know what's next is already done as far as the music. I just want to kind of enjoy this moment. Because I'm definitely enjoying it. You know, like, I'm not going to lie. Like, this shit has been a long time coming. And so to be here and even on, you know, platforms such as this, like, this shit is fire, bro. Like we walk around with, like, you know, we're cooler than everybody as rappers and all, but yo, this shit is fire. To get recognized by people whose opinion you respect and who do dope shit. You know what I mean? Like, you want to be around dope. I do. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be known for doing dope shit and around dope shit. So, you know, I just want to enjoy the moment.
Word. Well, again, congrats on everything, bro.
Thank you.
Freestyle out now. New project out now. Before we let you go here, let the people know where they can follow you or anything else you want to let the fans know. Now is the time to do it to this camera right here.
Yo, you can follow me on OnlyFans, Venmo. Nah, I'm just fucking with you. You can catch Rasheed Chappell on all platforms. A Portrait of is out right now. Let's keep it going. I thank all of you, everybody that supported me from day one. Yes. Like, we got so much more to do, and I just thank you for rocking out with me. And that's it.
Ooh, well, there you have it. Portrait of out now. Go keep streaming that. Go run up everything he has out now. Go run up that freestyle. Go follow him. Go show him some love. Go show him some support. Tell him his album of the year. Keep doing that on Twitter. Till next time, support is free, love is free, but y'all already knew that. It's on the radar. We out. Boom, my guy.
Appreciate you, bro.
Love. Perfect.